Hey, everybody. Welcome to day 3. I'm just signing in here. Just give me a moment. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so how's everyone doing? Don't know if the same was true for you, but it was a bit of a challenge for me to get down here tonight. um, no one really slept that well in our family last night, and so consequently, we slept in a little bit, and just that little change in our schedule kind of set us all off for the day. So my daughter was extra needing her mom, so I was just running down here to join in on the live. But I am super happy to be here. We are halfway through, more than halfway through now, of the challenge, Boost Your Energy Challenge, and kind of way to get rid of this pandemic brain fog that we've all been experiencing. So, if you are here and you are watching and you're part of the Crushing Mom Life group, and you don't really know what's going on, I've said it in the last 2 videos too, but it's free. You're free to join in on the challenge at any point. And you can get access to all of the stuff, the good stuff that we've been doing over the past 2 days. So, Monday, we talked a little bit about sugar and carbs. And yesterday, we had a chance to talk about leafy vegetables and the concept of crowding out your plate. So, today, on day 3, we are talking about what is getting in your way and how you can automate your mornings, especially to give yourself a little boost of energy throughout the rest of the day. So, pretty cool concept that we're talking about today, and I'm interested in kind of getting everybody's thoughts on it and see if it's been something that you've been able to implement ever, and if you've had any results. So let's see. So before we jump in, I just wanted to mention that link that I just mentioned, that I was just talking about, to join on to the challenge. It's pages.balanceandbean.com backslash COVID, and check it out, or you can just DM me and say sign me up, and I'll add your email to the list. I'm just looking at this picture in my background. I had somebody ask me what it is, and it just caught my eye as I was giving out that link. That's the Kittery and Portsmouth seacoast area. It's this cute little print that we bought at Gus and Ruby, little cute shop in Portsmouth, if you ever get a chance to check it out. So, all right, let's get started. Okay, so today we are talking about planning with a spotlight on willpower. So I bet some of you might be thinking, what does willpower have to do with, my energy reserve? So sort of everything. And I'll kind of talk through that today, or tonight, as we're on here. But we talked about willpower a little bit last night when we were discussing diet culture. When we were talking about that, and how it makes us believe that when we fail at a diet, we're not good enough, or we don't have the willpower to succeed through it, or our willpower isn't strong enough. So I'm here to say that that is a lie. Lies, that's lies. And I don't want you to believe that. Willpower is not a thing that like some people have and some people don't. It's not something that is given in excess to some who are lucky and, taken away from people who are unlucky. So, willpower is actually a cognitive function, and it is also a limited resource. So, this means that you can kind of think of it as a battery. So, when you're fully charged, you may be thinking, like, dang, I'm in control, like I feel good. And when you're starting to feel like the reserve is low or it is low, you might be losing your cool a little bit more easily, um, or you make some unfavorable choices, and lots of stuff can drain it. Stress can drain it. Poor diet can drain it. Lack of sleep can drain it, especially just everything kind of relates back to stress. So I would just really stress that stress causes it. So have you ever noticed that, things that you have patience for in the beginning of the day can sometimes drive you up the wall at night? I don't know if you guys agree with that. Let me know in the comments that happens to you too. So I have an example of that. So after like a really good night's sleep, And I wake up, my daughter's kind of running around and yelling and screaming. I feel good. Like I can sit there and play with her and I just feel like I have a ton of energy. And if I fast forward to later on in the night after maybe like a long day's work or the dishes aren't being done or I had an argument with my spouse or something went wrong at work with my boss or something, I'm just giving examples like this. A lot of times dinner and groceries can really drain people's reserves because those are things you have to check off. You have to get them done. They just take a lot of energy, blah, blah, blah. And whatever it is, my daughter's screaming and the whining that I thought was like totally fine and cute in the morning can just drive me up the wall. So all these things throughout the day that were happening were kind of draining my energy. Does that make sense? So here's the key. So since willpower is a limited resource, it's possible to get in front of our biggest energy drainers by creating habits. So when we have habits, it and you start to kind of like automate things, it takes very little thought for you to do those things. And it takes a very little energy to do them as well. It's kind of like they become more like autopilot. So we can start our days off right by creating habits in the morning time. So that is where I have created the concept of my best morning statement. And if you're on the email chains, you saw that come in today. And I just like everybody to kind of take a stab at that. Um, the my best morning statement looks like this. So you can either like take out a piece of paper if you're joining on new, or if you maybe looked at the email earlier today and already wrote one out, feel free to put it into the comments. But my best mornings look like blank. What are 3 things that I can do every day to create this? So for me, my very best mornings look like this. They look like getting up before my daughter wakes up and getting a workout in. They look like a stress free breakfast that is ready to eat because for me, cooking in the morning is very, very stressful because my daughter is starving when she wakes up. And so she'll just be screaming. And that's just my personal morning. And, the last thing is not having to run around all day or all morning trying to figure out like what I need to do, like what I need to wear and things like that. So for me, 3 things that I can do every day to create my best morning is to focus on my sleep. So I am able and refreshed in the morning when I need to get up early before my daughter so I can work out. Lay out my outfits the night before so I can kind of like automate that whole process. I don't have to use brain power to think about that. And meal plan. So I have meals that are prepared and ready for the morning time. Does that make sense? So when I automate these things like meal planning or, even just as simple as like laying out my outfit, they use less of my energy. So the concept of this, like my morning statement or kind of automating habits, can be used for literally everything that you do. You know, they say it takes about 21 days for any habit to form, but I typically find that like if I've done it consistently for like 7 days, like a week, I start to feel like it's just easy. It's just like autopilot for me. So it just helps, if you're like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example of something that I do that's outside of my morning. And like all I can think of right now is flossing my teeth. Um, it's something that kind of feels like a drag to do, but my husband has to be really careful with his gums, just because of his genetics. So it's really important to him to floss and brush and do all the things. He has like a water pick and everything like that. He has like a 7-step routine. So I have started doing, flossing with him every night, and every morning as well. And so it kind of becomes like we have like 5 things that we do when we go to bed, and flossing, brushing our teeth, washing our face, like those are all things that are just part of our routine now. So like when we're tired at night, we just know we have to just check these couple things off and then we can go to bed. Um, So the more that you can automate your mornings, especially though, like I was definitely talking about last a nighttime routine, but the more that we can automate our mornings, especially, the longer our energy is going to last throughout the day. Kind of like that reserve that I was talking about before. There's nothing worse than having a stressful morning and then setting yourself up for a stressful day. So remember that your energy reserve is going to be less if your stress is high. So that includes eating poorly, stress that's on the physical body, if you aren't getting enough sleep, or you're not having access to like the normal stress relievers, which a lot of us are, of course, experiencing right now or have experienced with it for the past year because of COVID. So this is just a hack that you can do, your best morning routine to kind of preserve some of your precious energy throughout the day. So for tonight, I just want you to think about your best morning, and think about what you can do to make tomorrow morning easier for you. What can you do tonight to help? So I personally love, like I said before, having a breakfast that's ready for me. I love overnight oats. I talk about them a lot. I don't know if you guys have ever tried them, but it's essentially just like taking organic rolled oats. I use Bob's Red Mill just because that's the brand that is at the grocery store that I go to. I take like a half a cup of rolled oats. I pour in unsweetened unsweetened nut milk. So usually I like unsweetened almond milk. I add a few berries. I add a couple nuts for that fat that we were talking about, the good healthy fat that we were talking about on Monday. And I add chia seeds. And chia seeds are just powerhouses for fiber, omega 3s. They're so good for you. And the chia seeds essentially, you put everything together into a bowl, you put a top on it, you put it in the fridge, and the chia seeds essentially like kind of soak up the liquid that's in the overnight oats, and they cook them. So it's not hot, it's not a warm meal when you wake up in the morning. It's cold, but the oats are completely cooked through. And I usually drizzle some nut butter on the top of it. It's really good. But if you can do that the night before you go into bed, it takes like literally 2-3 minutes to put the whole thing together. Your meal is made for you. It's healthy. You've got some good fat in there, and it's an easy meal that's just ready. So that's something like an example of something that you can do tonight to get yourself ready for the morning time tomorrow. So, tomorrow we are going to be talking about my absolute favorite topic, stress, because stress, like I said before, is the cause for literally everything. But we're going to talk about the stress cycle. And when I learned about the stress cycle, it really changed things for me because I was able to kind of look at life stressors a little bit more like differently, and I was able to kind of take ownership of helping my body overcome stress as it was happening in my life. So I'm really excited to talk about this. I really hope I'll see you guys tomorrow night on the live, and we can talk through different ways to help stop the stress cycle so you're not stuck in this continuous loop of stress, which right now, if you're here, if you've signed up for this challenge, it's likely that that's the case, that is what is happening. Have been stuck in this continuous loop. So keep an eye out for the email tomorrow morning. We are on day 4 tomorrow, which is really exciting. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow night with some energy, I hope. Okay, I'll see you then.